Crown Plaza over here. Well, I tried to go the back way, and it was less traffic. Let's put it like that.
Just a couple notes before we get started. Doors to the PMAC will open 30 minutes earlier than they typically do. Tomorrow night they'll open at 5:30, and then the ring ceremony will begin at 6:20, followed by the banner raising and the Final Four banner unveiling. So that's the timeline. We're trying to get that out to folks just so everybody's in their seat by 6:20. So if y'all could help us push that message, we'd appreciate that. We'll open it up. Questions, raise your hand. We'll get a mic.
Are you looking forward to the, banner being raised and rings being given out to kind of get closure on last season?
Well, I was looking forward to it, period. No, I don't know about closure. I think closure, you could look at closure as at any point, but I guess it can be viewed that way. I'm just excited about it, and I'm probably more excited about those that are getting one for the first time. It's just fun for me to see the emotions involved when they look at that ring and have great memories.
Hey, Coach. So when you looked at the film from the game on Monday, what did you see, and what did you jump out at? What
I
jumped
haven't
out
looked
at
at it. We had yesterday off, and it was a good thing, right? We're going to go in there when I'm done with y'all. And that new locker room, film room, I hope they got some good paint on those walls.
Yeah, you talked, I think, about energy and effort after the game. Is that what you feel?
Michael, you play this game and coach in this game, you're going to lose games. Losing hurts, but what hurts me more is what I witnessed on that floor. Effort, energy, fight, heart. Who are y'all? Now, I'm not talking about the transfers and the freshmen. I'm talking about those that have been in this program underneath me. And that's going to be mainly what I address, and the film will show it. The film will not be about missed shots. The film will be about defense. What are you doing? What are you doing? The film will be about just grit and guts, and that on that floor the other day, they need to tell me why. I told y'all what we were facing with Colorado. I told them what we were facing with Colorado. You don't have that many players that are returning, seniors, graduates, that haven't played many minutes together. They finished in the Sweet 16. They lost to Iowa by 10. I knew what we were facing this early in the season. So I'll take responsibility for even scheduling it. But we're okay. The sun will come out. The sky's not falling in. It's one game. Let's go back to work. But we got a lot to fix.
Hey, Coach. As tomorrow you're going to watch the banner go up, the players are going to get their rings. Memories, right? What were some of your favorite memories from the championship run?
Well, I don't know that I could pick just one. I think obviously, I think back to when the seconds or the last minute 32 on that clock, and I realized we're winning a national championship. There's no way I can screw this up. I remember Flage running with 50-something seconds to grab me, and I thought, I hope she doesn't knock me down. I remember my grandchildren, my daughter, my son-in-law. I remember looking across the floor at all the LSU people. Just the moment that you realized it was really happening. I remember that vividly. And then things that happened through those 6 games that helped you get there. I had to make a decision to change the lineup, which is you're either going to be successful with that decision or you're not, and I felt like we were. I always say you got to have a little luck along the way. The young lady for Utah missing the free throws, I think about that. So that's what pops in my head today when you ask me this.
Kim, how far along is Haley when it comes to running the point the way you'd like her to?
I think let's be fair. Haley wasn't our problem the other day. Haley was not the problem. Several of them were not the problem. And I will address that with those that I thought were issues. She's not polished by any means. She is a wing player that shoots the ball abundantly her last 3 years at Louisville, and now you're asking her to go play a position where she's responsible for everybody on that court. She's responsible for everything on that court, and that's quite a undertaking. And she had 7 assists. She had 4 turnovers. You need to have 2-to-1 ratio, assists to turnovers. But when we get in that film room, I will be able to sit with them and address the defensive end of the floor. If there's 2 things you ever write about me when I'm dead and gone and not coaching anymore, I think people will tell you, a Mulkey coach team, they're going to guard you and they're going to rebound. We didn't guard. We rebounded very poorly. And that's not our identity. That's not my identity as a coach, and it's my job to get us to that mindset again. And we'll get there. I just don't know when. I don't know when. It's almost like last year's team piecing it together. You got 2 transfers that can score the ball, but they don't know how to defend the way we want. You got returning players. You got a freshman that's got to play. You got a sophomore who has to fill in for a 5th-year senior from last year. So that's what we're doing. And we'll get there. I just cannot tell you when.
Watching on television, your body language the other night said that you weren't entirely disappointed with the outcome. That maybe, did it teach them a lesson that you wanted to be taught?
Well, I would use a different word than disappointed. I was not surprised. I was definitely disappointed in all those areas I mentioned: effort, heart, guts, intensity, passion. But I was not surprised that they were a little bit more polished than we were, that they exposed us in certain areas. And you only lost by 14 as bad as we were. And so we'll get in there, and y'all make sure y'all take your cameras and leave, because you might hear it all the way down the hall.
You talked about Samaya recently, and you said she's never going to be like big and bulky, but looking at her numbers, she's obviously improved. Has she gotten stronger, strength and conditioning to play?
She's gotten stronger. You're never going to look at her body and go, wow, she's put on a lot of weight, put on a lot of muscle. That's not how her body is made. What she has done is become more knowledgeable on how do I guard a bigger post player. Certainly not very good the other night. All of our post players just got buried. That's effort. If you're going to be thin and you've got to guard a big guy, you never let him touch you, you never let him feel you, you pull the chair out from under him and you 3/4, you front, you get deflections. That's work. I mean, that's just work, guys. It's so easy to go down there and just put an arm bar on them and put a leg in them and let them get the ball. And that's what we got to get away from. You can't do that. And she knows that. And I think she's just she did some good things in the game the other night. I thought she and Michaela, they weren't intimidated. They weren't afraid. I thought they gave good effort without really having all the great players around them make it easier for them. And when you're young and you're a freshman and a sophomore, you should be, those older players should be your stability, and they didn't have that the other night.
How much of the message today, or is this kind of known that you're going to get that all season long now because you're the target?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can say it to them, and you can talk about a target on your back, and it's not like it hasn't been said, but sometimes you just have to have it happen to you to maybe make you listen to your coach. It's kind of like raising a child. Don't touch that stove, it's going to burn you. I said, don't touch that stove, it's going to burn you. And they touch it anyway, and then they have a little scar from the burn. Sometimes you just have to go through it.
So what exactly are you hoping to see from your team
Oh,
tomorrow
I'm
night?
hoping to see intense, passionate workouts from
Yeah.
everybody.
Tomorrow night in the game as well.
Tomorrow night's about us, Reed. You know, I've got a scouting report here on Queens. Quite honestly, by the time I'm done with them in the film room, I'm not even sure I'm going to go over this. Because what we need to do is take care of us. What we need to do, a scouting report's not going to help, both offensively and defensively. Certainly we'll give them little things here and there, but the details of the scouting report, I don't know, because we're going to give details of us.
Got time for a few more questions.
As if you can break down the non-conference schedule highlighted by the Final Four rematch against Virginia Tech, like what games like stand out to you the most? Like what games are you looking forward to, and how does that prepare you for conference play?
I don't look at any one other than the next opponent. I know Queens and I know Mississippi Valley on Sunday, and the reason I know those two, they're at home, and we're giving out rings tomorrow, and I'm giving out rings on Sunday to my former coaches. And so those two are in my head right now. After that, I don't know who we play. And I know that after that game on Sunday, we'll start focusing on the next. But really, our workouts are going to be about us.
Kim, just some thoughts on Jada Rashard.
Yes, I
signing
can
with
talk
you.
about Jada. We got her signature. You guys have probably covered her. You know, she's won a couple state championships over there at Lafayette. Christian and point guard. Probably someone that's kind of under the radar because she doesn't play on an EYBL team. She plays locally. So she's known regionally more than she is nationally. But I just saw her 2 or 3 years ago when I was at Baylor, and then I got to watch her last year go against Michaela, and I just thought, I like this kid. She's the best player in the state, and you don't ever ignore the state. You don't ever ignore the regional area, and we're very fortunate that she wanted to be here, and happy. Point guard, can score for them. You know, it's a natural position for her at point guard.
The $64,000 question, how many more players are you hoping to sign?
Well, we'd like to sign probably 3 more in the early signing period, but that doesn't mean in the late signing period, if we don't get 3, that we won't sign 4 or 5. We'll go the transfer portal. We'll, do what we always do.
We'll finish up here with Reed.
Speaking of Michaela, were you surprised at all about how comfortable and confident she looked on Monday night?
Not at all. I was not surprised at all. She's just very, very talented. Now, she didn't play a perfect game. She would tell you that. There are things that she's got to work on defensively, but the moment was not too big for her. She was not afraid to take that mid-range jumper. She, like all of them, they've got to get in better shape. But that comes with practicing and the long season you have. But I wasn't surprised. I was actually happy for her.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you all.